Hey, what's up? Hey, how y'all doing? But for another video, you know what kind of scares me about the Lakers? I don't know who's the another playmaker for real for the Lakers. I know Rajon Rondo is out, but besides LeBron, who really stabilizes that offense? You know, I think LeBron, he's been good, he's been solid this year, but when he's off the court, the offense doesn't look the same with LeBron off, not on the court or missing games. And I'm just worried about the lack of depth on the Lakers. I know they have Alex Caruso. I know they picked up J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, but it just doesn't. It still doesn't look the same. It still like they're missing a missing piece with the Lakers. I wonder if when Rajon Rondo comes back, will he help improve the situation? Because right now, I think the Lakers going around with the Clippers. I think the Clippers not having the same depth. Not having the same depth. The Lakers do as the Clippers, that they're gonna get eaten alive in terms of their backcourt, because the Lakers backcourt is not as good as the Clippers backcourt. And I'm just wondering who can be that missing piece in the backcourt to help LeBron carry some of that playmaking load for the Lakers. Anthony, I know the Lakers have the advantage on the front court, but in terms of back court and even on the wing, who does the Lakers have besides LeBron? I know Kyle Kuzma, he's really more of a he can be hot one day and it can be very cold and look confused on the court. And I'm just wondering when it comes down to playoff times, when they get deeper in these rounds, because I still got the Lakers still making it to the Western Conference Finals against the Clippers. Who's going to be that missing piece to help share that load of LeBron? You know, I think Rajon Rondo, he's not the same Rajon Rondo even in the Portland series. I think he's old. He's older and he's aged. Sad to say, I know Rajon Rondo can definitely be a little help still, but I still think he's gonna struggle, especially finding his rhythm early on when he comes back. And I don't think he's still gonna be ready to go in the playoffs in those first maybe in the first round, but I think he might return in the second round depending on how fast he recovers from that injury. And who's that second playmaker, man? I'm just really confused right now. The Lakers just don't look like they really have it all together. I think they're not a band, and they have a very great team chemistry. Hopefully they're more of a defensive locked in team, grind it out style. But when it's time to get a bucket or get after people, I've seen two games, late game situations, who's going to take over. What I mean. They just got beat by the Pacers. The Pacers. Shout out to DJ Warren, man. I don't know what he did during that little off season they had for quarantine, but he definitely changed his game, and he's always had game. He's always had that potential, but he's definitely showing that he might be the Pacers second superstar with Victor Oladipo, and he definitely had a great season. And he's definitely making some noise in the bubble. And the Pacers are definitely looking like another team that can be contenders. And I wouldn't be shocked if they beat somebody like a Philly in the playoffs and shock a couple of teams and making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because I think that's another team that's looking good and has good chemistry and a great their their head coach definitely is a great head coach, and I would definitely consider him for coach of the year. He's been definitely great, definitely great. But back to the Lakers, it just scares me that they missing that one missing piece. What I mean? I think they need to this off season, if they don't make it to NBA Finals or get bounced in the NBA Finals or even get bounced even earlier, that they do need to have a second playmaker or a scorer like a Bradley Bill, go after like a Bradley Bill. And I think they're making that well known that LeBron is coming for Bradley Bill or some NBA superstar. I think that was kind of a hint when Bradley Bill, even though the Wizards had no chance of him making to me, the Wizards never really had a real good chance of making the the playoffs. I think that's one of the reason why Bradley Beal, decided to not participate to help his trade value. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers are gonna really try to pursue a big time free agent, because the lack of shooting they have, the lack of real depth in them, I think is gonna really come out to bite them in this and later in the round. I know LeBron changes to a different animal in the playoffs, and yes, but what scares me, especially when I was watching the Pacers game and the Rockets game, that Anthony Davis, sometimes he just fades. He sometimes fades in the game, and I mean he doesn't show how dominant he can be. And I'm really looking for that one dominant Anthony Davis, that Kentucky Anthony Davis during the championship game, where he didn't score a lot, but even defensively, I want to see Anthony Davis just dominate. Now I know he dominated during games, but I'm talking about dominate playoffs. Show me why you're a top 5 player. I know the stats show that he's a top 5 player, but I haven't seen games where he proved that he's a top 5 player, that he's a game changer, the generational talent that came out. You know what I mean? I just want to see that from Anthony Davis, and he still has a lot to prove to me. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I think a lot of Lakers fans still want to see Anthony Davis and show the mental toughness of Anthony Davis. But the Lakers scare me, man. What are they going to do if LeBron is not on that court? Or even if LeBron misses the extended amount of time during the playoffs, let's say 2-3 games, nursing an injury or the groin or whatever. Even though I think they're not really worried too much, because they already locked down the first seed. You know what I mean? They're locked in, and I think they're just cruising, trying to get to the playoffs, just trying to get their chemistry right, make sure everybody stays healthy. I don't think the Pacers games really, I don't want to say they proved it, more so it had you worried, like, wow, there's not a lot of depth on this team when LeBron is not cooking, or even when LeBron is not cooking or on the court. And it showed that you know what I mean, is Anthony Davis really that guy that can take over games? And I think they're gonna really need him for this big stretch. You know what I mean? So just tell me what you think. MC Tone out. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe. Let me know.